Hey everyone, today we're diving into the fundamentals of hardpoints, a breakdown of how a match typically works, and we're also going to be doing our first case study on Subbase. So here's something critical you need to know. In COD, the spawn system works linear, meaning that your team's location heavily influences where you respawn. Now imagine there's a line running down of all these hardpoints here, a imaginary line halfway through all the points. Typically, the golden rule is like you never want more than 2 people over this line, because crossing the line with more than half your team causes the spawns to flip or split. And you'll often notice in professional matches, the teams are very cautious about not fully challenging over the halfway line in hardpoint. They're doing this to maintain control of their good spawn. So remember, it's not just about rushing into the hardpoint and taking control. It's about doing so while being mindful of where your team is positioned. This approach helps you keep those advantage spawns, of course, and it sets the pace of the game in your favor. Now let's dig a little deeper into how you can use this knowledge to dominate your matches. Starting off with breakup, so one team gets the good side and the other team gets the bad side. Winning breakoff is crucial because it sets the pace. You get map control and objective. It's all about the initial push and gaining the upper hand. Now let's talk defense. When you've got the hard point and the ideal spawns, you're sitting pretty with a 60-40 advantage because the enemies have to come to you. Your job is to hold down all possible enemy lanes, win those crucial gunfights, and if you're winning consistently, push up, gain more map control. Remember, the goal is not just to hold down your point, but to force your enemies to overextend, making it easier for your team to break them down. So now I'm going to show you guys a quick little gameplay of why setups are really important, and not even just setups, but it's why watching lanes is really important. Like, for example, you see here white team has already won the rotation for P4 on Subbase. Now they should typically set up and watch all lanes. Sure, one of their players is still back here. That's okay. You got 3 players, 3 lanes to watch. This one, middle, and the back flank. 3 lanes, pretty simple. Now you'll see here 7 was watching his lane right here. He was looking right here into tin. You already have 2 people in the point. You have no reason to look into the point or look into the tunnel. Watch your lane. So the biggest problem is a lot of people forget hardpoint is team play. If you're not watching what you're supposed to, you're the weakest link.
Like 60, 70 point leads where it gets scary. They've stayed just inside of that, right? It's been around 30 to 40.
Here, number 1 picks off number 7. He gets a back thing into his lane. Weakest link.
Now cutting it down to almost 20
takes out this guy in here,
points and attach,
and they funnel right into P4. Now, watch how number 1 watches his lane and plays this picture perfectly.
Off. They'll now get control of the point early on. Trophies.
All right, you got 1 still here. All right, he's watching the back. Cool. He sees that no one's pushing the back right now, and his teammate most likely just called out, okay, yada yada yada. It's like 1, I just died here. He sees 1 for sure, maybe 2 people. He's like, okay, there's people here, right? Okay, watch 1. He leaves to watch this lane. Look what number 2 does. He comes to watch the back because 1 just moved out. This is a bump. 2 just bumped 1, so 1 can go do something. So 2 came and filled in his place. So now watch 1. Look at this. He pushed out of his lane because no one was pushing in it. And look what's happening. You see the whole team funneling into tunnel, the front of the tunnel for a break, trying to break the spawn or the point. Nothing wrong with that. But look what's 1 doing. Right on their back.
Yeah, you're just wasting time.
Look at that.
Trophies off his spawn and attach with
Nice little cleanup there. So if you're watching your lane and no one is pushing, push out and get some recon for your team. Let them know, hey, they're not in my lane. They're coming mid. They're coming whatever, right? Let them know. Now, On offense, it's a different ball game. If you're late to a rotation and the enemy has a setup already, focus on maintaining your map position. Coordinate a spread break, meaning spread your team out and break at all angles. You essentially get 2 shots at this. First, working up the map control, using your nades and stuns to weaken the enemy, and second is a more direct attack with all players focused on the hill. Always keep an eye on that minimap, staying close to your teammates to win your trade. Rotating is the biggest part of Hardpoint. When do you start? Well, the golden rule is around the 30-second mark. Earlier, especially for those money hills. Depending on whether you're still contesting the current hill, you'll send players to rotate at staggered times, 5 or 10 seconds apart. If you got bad spawns, you need to rotate as a team. You do it properly with proper timing and coordination. Now, as endgame is approaching, if it's a close match, play for the spawns for the next hardpoint, not just the current one. And if you're way ahead, focus on winning those scraps, trades, and you might just win off scrap time. But during those intense 240 to 240 moments, keep your setups tight, win those trades, and stay calm, cool, and collected. Remember to use all your nades strategically, bait and switch, and play those trades smartly. Alright, now we've got down the fundamentals. Let's jump right into our case study. I know in the last video I mentioned that we would start with Karachi, but due to the recent major update, the spawns have gotten a bit, let's say, jumbled up. So I need a bit of time to rework the video for you guys, but no worries, we've got an equally interesting map to dissect today. Subbase is a unique one. It's a map that seems a bit hard to understand at first, but once you get the hang of it, it's surprisingly straightforward. It's all about how you navigate its unique layout and using the strategies we discussed to control and dominate the game. First up, we'll start by identifying primary spawn points on our maps. These will be marked by circles. The color scheme will be red and blue respective for the teams. Primary spawns. These are your usual spots where you'll respawn or expect the enemies to respawn. But what happens when the primary spawns are compromised? Now that's where our secondary spawns come into play, and these will be marked by an X. Here is P1. Your typical spawns are here by P2 over here, and your typical spawn for the blue team is back 10 right over here. Now this just means this is just a general location. They can spawn anywhere in this circle. Now you have secondary spawns for P1 over here by the original spawn for red team, and the secondary spawn over here for P2. It's a little weird. For P2, your primary spawns for the red team are out here, and your secondary is over here. And again, your primary for blue team is here, and your secondary is actually inside the tunnel at the bottom here. P3, your primary spawns are over here. You have secondaries on P5 right here. And for blue team, your spawns are here, and your secondary spawns are over here in Narnia. Here are your spawns for P4. You got your spawns right over here. Secondaries are here. And I have seen a few secondary, or I guess third spawns here. I'm not really sure what this is. You'll see this on other maps too. I'll have a question mark on it. It's just like I've seen people spawn here for some reason when they should have just spawned here. I guess it just forces an outer spawn. This is not a spawn point at all. I mean, I don't really think this would happen, but I mean, sometimes it does. You have a blue team spawn here, still secondary here, and there is another secondary one as well just behind this little building. And here are your spawns for P5. Your primaries are in these 2 spots. Secondaries back here. Blue team spawns here, primary. Secondary just under here by the barrels, and one here close to server. Here are your key positions on this map, and they're all on high ground. You got top thirds, you got top P2, top snow, and top server. These positions are where typically you'll see a lot of enemies hold and sit. So check these positions first. Here is a typical setup for P1. You have one of your players watching the ramp and the top lane here. He can also watch into this little door. You have someone on point, of course, just behind the forklift here, I think, watching the door. This is this line of sight where the arrow is, of course, is looking up. So there's a top server, and then there's this window here. He also watches. Of course, you have someone top third watching into top server as well, tunnel, and top snow. Now you'll see this dotted line here. It means they can typically look over and help player 3 when they need it, but The blue lines are their primary spot. Of course, you have someone top P2 watching into bottom tin window. Then you got top tin window and top snow, of course. And again, they can sometimes look into tunnel if players 2 needs help here, but not necessary. This is just a typical setup. This is not like the setup you should use, but this is just a good reference. An interesting thing to note is that if you have one of your players sitting in tunnel, this will instantly block primary spawns and forces the blue team to spawn here. Now, how you use this, well, I'll let you figure that out. But typically, you could have your player 2 just sit in tunnel, because you'll still have almost all the lanes watched, and this will force them to come from here. So they'll probably be pushing top servers and top lane. Moving on, we have our P3 setup. I'm not going to show all the setups, just because, I don't want to. Anyways, P3 setup, just a typical little setup here. You have someone sitting on the point, of course, watching this lane. You got player 1 here just watching mid cut and P2 door and window. You got player 4 on that little green heady, by that green fence heady, watching this lane here and this dark corner. And of course, you have someone top third just watching top cat and helping wherever he needs to help. Mid cut, bottom window, bottom door here or over here. We know that the P3 primary spawns are over here, and the secondary are here. Now, how do you get them to spawn here? Is this catwalk right here. For some reason, if someone is like in this room or on the catwalk itself, it blocks these spawns here. Right here, it blocks these spawns if someone's player 1, like one of the players is sitting just on this catwalk or even pushing forward to this forklift area, just this little area right here. If someone's sitting right here, it tends to block these spawns and makes them spawn way back out here. And that is a wrap. Thank you for coming out to watch this video. Really appreciate everyone's love and support. If you found this video, please do subscribe and like. I will be doing all the other maps, and I will be showing all the spawns and all the block points and everything that I found. I'm going to keep it very transparent with you guys. I'm not really holding anything back. I've been doing a lot of research on this. I want you guys to get better. I want me to get better. So please subscribe. There's going to be a lot more video, a lot more content on ranked and just Warzone and even zombies in general. So would love for a lot of people to stick around and trying to just grow this community. And I do stream pretty much every day at 7 p.m. 7 to 9ish, 7 to 10 sometimes on YouTube, here on YouTube. So if you're ever free and you just want to come hang out on chill vibes, please pull through. Nothing too complicated. Thank you for all the support. If we can hit 100 subs, that would be awesome. Before the end of the year, of course, that would be awesome. But like I said, stick around. A lot more content coming out for you guys. A lot more spawn breakdown. A lot more case studies on all these shitty maps. Let's be honest here. But we'll get through it. I hope you guys enjoyed. I'll see you guys in the next one.